Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rochelle Keeble, and today I'll be discussing the contributions of women during the American Revolutionary War, focusing on two incredible women, Abigail Adams and Phillis Wheatley. We'll explore how their actions both challenged and reinforced the traditional gender roles of the 18th century, and how their legacies continue to influence our views on equality today. To understand the significance of these women's actions, we need some context. The American Revolution, which began in 1775, was driven by tensions between the colonies and Britain over issues like taxation without representation. Women, however, were largely excluded from the political sphere. Most were expected to focus on home and family, and their public involvement was limited. However, the war itself created opportunities for women to step beyond these boundaries as they look on new responsibilities while the men were all fighting. The American Revolution had a profound impact on gender norms. With many men serving in the Continental Army, women took on responsibilities they hadn't held before. Some managed businesses, farms, and finances, while others contributed directly to the war effort, even serving as spies or soldiers. The revolution highlighted women's capability outside the domestic realm. Though society was slow to fully embrace these new roles, the shift laid the groundwork for women's political and social activism in years to come. In colonial America, women were expected to maintain the household, raise children, and support their husbands. While some women did support the revolutionary cause by organizing boycotts or writing letters, they were often working with the confines of these traditional roles. Women's activism was still seen as secondary to men's, but the very act of stepping outside the home to contribute to the war effort was a radical challenge to societal expectations. Abigail Adams is perhaps best known for her letters to her husband, John Adams, urging him to remember the ladies. When crafting the new government, while her direct political influence was limited by her gender, her letters and advocacy were a form of intellectual activism that raised critical questions about women's rights and equality. Abigail was a key advisor to her husband during the war, and thoughts helped shape the political discourse of the time. She stands as a pioneering voice for women's rights in early American history. Phillis Wheatley was an enslaved African American woman who became the first African American to publish poetry in the colonies. Her poems focus on freedom and equality, using her writing to challenge ideas about race and gender. As a successful poet, Wheatley broke barriers for enslaved people, especially women, showing that talent and intelligence were not limited to white men. Her work connected the fight for independence with her movement to end slavery. Both Abigail Adams and Phillis Wheatley defied gender norms, but Wheatley also faced racial oppression as an enslaved African American. While Adams was a free white woman, Wheatley overcame the additional challenges of enslavement. Despite their differences, both women used their voices to challenge societal expectations, shedding light on gender and race during the Revolution. When we compare Abigail Adams and Phillis Wheatley, we see two different but equally impactful approaches to advocating for change. Abigail Adams used her position as a political advisor to push for women's rights in her letters, directly engaging with the political process. Wheatley, on the other hand, used her poetry to inspire and challenge the minds of her readers, offering a profound critique of the institution of slavery and advocating for liberty. Both women, in their own ways, pushed the boundaries of what was expected of women in their time. To conclude, Abigail Adams and Phillis Wheatley challenged gender roles in unique ways. Abigail fought for women's rights, while Phillis used her poetry to oppose slavery and advocate for freedom. Their actions were groundbreaking and to continue to inspire us to reflect on justice, equality, and the power of every voice to make a difference. The journey toward equality continues, and the contributions of these women remind us of the importance of perseverance in the pursuit of justice. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. Micah 6:8.